Am I wrong for locking the door to prevent my husband from getting involved in a job interview? I, 33 female, am unemployed, but God knows I had been looking for jobs for well over 5 months, right after I recovered from my knee surgery. My husband has a high-paying job. First, he suggested I leave my career as a sales rep behind. Not up to his wealthy family standards, they'd mock me a lot for it, and stay home, but I refused because I love my job and want to grow in it. He suggested he finds me a better job since he has connections, but that's not in my field. I've had several job interviews, and my husband has ruined all of them for me, and here's how. He'd walk into the room whenever I'm having a potential job interview and introduce himself and take over the conversation with the interviewer. He'd tell them about how good I am, but slip in some bad stuff that eventually cost me the job. His argument was that he was just making recommendations since he has connections and influence, but I told him to stop and let me handle it. He sulked, saying he was just trying to guide me and whatnot. You said several job interviews where he's barged in? Hello? That is not normal, ever. Several days ago, I'd gotten a job interview, and after getting inside the room and before the interview started, I locked the door. My husband tried to come in and started knocking on the door, asking why I was locking the door and telling me to let him in. I put my headphones on and used noise canceling, but he kept knocking, telling me to open the door. After the interview was over, I unlocked the door and walked out. He went off on me, calling me disrespectful and awful to lock him out like that. I said I was sorry, I wanted to work for this company so badly and I couldn't let him ruin it for me. He got offended and said that I was being petty and childish and also ungrateful because of the stunt I pulled, and said that he was trying to help me get the best deal out there. I said I'm not a child, but he said that yes I was, especially with how I behaved and from excluding him from my interview. Am I wrong for ignoring my childhood friend after she ditched me on my wedding? I, 29 female, got married recently. I had been planning my wedding for a long time and had 10 bridesmaids as I did not want to leave any of my closest friends or cousins out. I did not want it to be financially draining for anyone, so I bought all of their bridesmaids' dresses. One of my childhood best friends, let's call her Leah, was also my bridesmaid. I had switched 3 flights to be there for her wedding and then returned just the day after as I was not able to take time off work, but did all of my bridesmaid duty and made sure I was there for her wedding no matter what. But when it came time for my wedding, she wasn't getting very involved in the planning, but would leave random messages for me from time to time to show her excitement. I just assumed that she was really busy and did not think much of it. I was a bit shocked and hurt when she did not show up for my bachelorette. My sister and my maid of honor told me that she had asked each and every one of my bridesmaids about their date of convenience and budget before planning my bachelorette, and Leah had confirmed her presence but dropped out last minute, saying she had an important work meeting. I believed her till I found out that she was actually out on a cousin's trip on the same date. This really pissed me off and I confronted her. She never gave a proper explanation and just became really defensive. I left the matter there as I did not want to ruin my wedding and chose to give her the benefit of the doubt. I had a grand music night a day before my wedding. She was there for it and everything seemed normal. The next day in the morning when I called all my bridesmaids to my room for the final bridal entry practice, I found out that Leah had already left because she needed to attend another wedding. I was very upset. I was, anyway, in the bridal mode and it really affected my mood. I also had to make some last-minute changes to the bridal entry. Later, when I confronted her after the wedding, she wasn't apologetic at all. She simply told me that she also had to attend her husband's cousin's wedding, and since she was already there for one wedding-related event, it shouldn't be a big deal that she missed my actual wedding since I would anyway be busy on the day of my wedding and wouldn't get time to interact with anyone. I asked her why she did not tell me this earlier. I wouldn't have bought her the bridesmaid dress and wouldn't have planned things keeping her in mind. She said that she did not want to upset me and thought it's best if she leaves without telling anyone so that she is not emotionally manipulated into staying. Since then, I have been avoiding her. I had a lot of love for her, but I just feel so betrayed that all of the love seems to have evaporated. Some people think that I'm being petty and I should just forgive her. So, am I wrong? We go so out of our way for people that we care about, just for them not to care about us in the same way. And you don't need that energy. Don't waste your energy on that. Focus on the people who are there for you. You thought she would show up for you when you needed her, but she didn't. So you drop her like a fly. That's it. She doesn't seem genuinely happy for you. She put her husband's cousin's wedding over her friend's wedding. A close friend enough to be a bridesmaid. Speaks volumes on the relationship.
My new wife got me into $130,000 of debt. What should I do? Disclaimers, is not my story time. It was sent to me on Instagram. I was a 30-year-old man and I was single, but I was desperate for a wife. My best friend lives in Montenegro and he says that the women there are beautiful. I decided to go visit him and just meet some girls. This is when I met my current wife. Best friend took me to this party and there were like 20 women there. All beautiful, all amazing, but my wife stuck out to me because she came up to me first. We had a great time talking. At the end of the night, my best friend tells me that this party was for men to go meet women. Essentially, men with money go meet women and then they marry them. and the women go back to wherever the men live. It sounds terrible, right? But I was desperate. All my siblings are married and have kids, and I still didn't even have a girlfriend. And the biggest part of this is I was set to inherit money once I got married. My aunt had left me $70,000, and my parents told me that that money would come to me when I got married. Essentially, that money would serve as a down payment for a house or something. But like I said, I was desperate. After 3 days of hanging out with this woman, I asked her to marry me, because that's how it's supposed to go. We get back to where I live and fast forward 2 months. She just goes shopping every single day. She doesn't just go shopping to the mall. She shops online. Essentially, she got herself a whole new wardrobe. Not just any wardrobe. She's obsessed with Balenciaga for some reason. I don't even know what that is. She got herself a Louis Vuitton purse. She asked me for a car, which I did get her one because she actually did need one. Got to dinner at least once a week, and she wanted me to take her on vacation. Spent $25,000 taking her to the Bahamas. Essentially, I gave her everything she wanted. When my parents realized what was happening, they said that they would not give me the inheritance if I married this woman. Even my siblings tried to talk me out of marrying her. But this is when I was really faced with the truth. My accountant calls me one day and asks me if I'm okay. That's when he breaks it to me that I'm more than $130,000 in debt. And when I told him why, he told me that I needed to break up with her immediately. To be honest, I don't know what to do though. I mean, our relationship is pretty good, and I don't have any other prospects, but I really need that money I'm supposed to inherit. My family thinks I'm crazy for doing what I'm doing, but I actually can't afford to have this relationship. This is when I told my fiance that she needed to spend less money. She threatened to break up with me and told me that that's not what she signed up for, and that she could find any other man to give her the lifestyle she needs. I was ready to break up with her, but when she said this, I felt insecure and I wanted to be with her even more. So we went to the court and got married the next day. Am I being completely played? Am I really that dumb? Family say they won't speak to me until I get a divorce. She still goes shopping every day. What should I do?
Am I wrong for keeping a caricature of my girlfriend and saying she's being ridiculous? It's actually a caricature of both of us, but she's the only one with the problem, thus the title. A couple weekends ago, my girlfriend and I decided to take a walk by the beach and grab some ice cream. We spotted an artist doing cartoonistic drawings of people in couples and figured we'd get one done ourselves. The couple before us got a relatively cute but a little boring in my opinion looking cartoon of the two of them. But I knew that with these guys, the only guarantee is that the outcome is unpredictable. So yeah, my guy starts drawing us while we're eating our ice cream and talking. So eventually he finishes and shows us the drawing and it looks so sick. I wish I could upload it so you could see it, but obviously that would be a bad idea. I've got big ears, so in the cartoon, I'm like a hybrid human Dumbo, and my girlfriend looks more realistic. Like herself, but her nose has been exaggerated. Am I wrong for keeping a caricature of my girlfriend and saying she's being ridiculous? So like I said, in the cartoon, my ears are exaggerated and so is my girlfriend's nose. She has a slightly bigger nose than normal, but it's only noticeable when pointed out or actively compared with others. Anyways, I figured she hated it when she was silent during the reveal and then walked off. I paid the man for his work, took the art, and then went after my girlfriend. That's when she explained in the car he basically reignited her insecurity about her nose and she didn't want to see it. Alright, cool. So I understood but already paid for it, so I just kept it in my cubicle at work. Long story short, she saw that the art was in my cubicle and we got into a tiff about it. Because apparently I shouldn't have kept it after she told me how it made her feel. I said she was being ridiculous. That's where you messed up. Since it's in my cubicle and couldn't just throw it away. Am I wrong? I can understand why he kept it, but I can understand too why she's upset. I, 25 female, do not like money talk. I keep it private because growing up, I've seen the things people will do for money, and it absolutely destroyed my brothers. My parents died when I was little, and I was taken in by my grandparents who raised me. It was a very privileged upbringing, but they also raised me to be frugal and grateful for what I have. And I am incredibly grateful for what I have. I don't show off or anything, don't care for labels, and most of my clothing is thrifted. And my husband, 33 male, and I live within our means. The problem is our friend group has just found out that I'm rich and now they're mad. We had friends over for dinner and the wife of my husband's best friend went into our office to take a private work call. And we've let friends in there before with no issue. Am I wrong for not telling our friends that I'm rich? She was snooping around and found documentation about my trust fund, my investments, and more. When she came out, she was mad. I thought it was just because of the calls, so I left her alone and continued cooking. But then she started telling everybody that I was actually rich. Proceeding to show them one of my documents she took from the office. That is wild. My husband took it off her and told her it was none of her business, as he should. At dinner, she kept going on about me masquerading as poor because I thrift, have a cheap car, travel in economy, and don't offer to cover the bill when we go out. That is not your friend. Our other friends were upset because we never offered money when they were struggling, so we ended up cutting dinner short and asking everyone to leave. Since then, I've received messages from mostly the women being angry that I never told them, and also even had a couple requests for money. Literally $50,000 to cover their student loans.